Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Joe Goldberg, currently president of the American Society of Clinical Psychopharmacology. Here today to tell you something about the origins and beginnings of our new educational endeavor as a joint project undertaken with edYOU to update our educational series in psychopharmacology for trainees. One of the missions of the ASCP is to advance the science, practice, and education of clinical psychopharmacology. And to that end, over the last several years, our organization has been really focused on how to bring psychopharmacology education into the 21st century, how to understand better how trainees learn, how really clinicians and prescribers at all levels of expertise learn and maintain and update their knowledge and skills. And because the clinical psychopharmacology field advances at such a rapid pace, we felt there was a need to really do an overview and an overhaul of our teaching modules. So for many years, we had a clinical psychopharmacology training program. It was a PowerPoint deck based static presentation of major topics in psychopharmacology, which I think for many years served a wonderful purpose for training programs and other interested clinicians. And in more recent years, we've been overviewing and overhauling this program to create an all new learning experience that's a software based, artificial intelligence informed series of modules that take us through different stages of educational expertise to learn clinical psychopharmacology. The ASCP has an enormous commitment to bringing up-to-date, state-of-the-art learning to our members, to trainees, to future members, and really to the community at large as part of our educational mission, which also includes to improve the health and well-being of our patients. So to that end, I want to welcome you to this opportunity to learn more about our educational program in the clinical psychopharmacology of really all areas pertinent to mental health prescribers. We'll be talking now about the new modules that we've developed, their scope, their focus. And I want to just give this sort of backdrop about why we felt the need to update this program to make it more interactive, on par with the way we think people learn psychopharmacology nowadays, and most important of all, to make sure that it remains current and up to date with regular revisions over the course of time.
Hello, hi. I'm Dr. Michael Everest, founder and chairman of edYOU Technologies. It is a distinct honor and pleasure to be in the company of Dr. Macaluso, Dr. Shelton, and Dr. Goldberg. And I want to share with you how the leadership at ASCP and how we came about introducing edYOU to the esteemed Society of Clinical Psychopharmacology, which is ASCP. We believe at edYOU Technologies that this was the perfect opportunity, as being in graduate medical education almost 25 years, and I know Dr. Goldberg, Dr. Shelton, and Dr. Macaluso respectively have dedicated their lives to graduate medical education, is how can we help these young, malleable minds and the veterans of psychiatry really get up-to-date modules and up-to-date learning. You know, you go onto YouTube or you go onto one of these platforms and you watch a video, you have a question, you have to email or type to a form. You may get the right answer, you may not get the right answer. You go onto these large language models and eventually you're going to get a wrong answer as you keep working through that system. And at edYOU, what we created is a interactive, conversational artificial intelligence with a human-like face that becomes your private tutor. So not only do you have all of this context, all of this content that has been curated, so there are no, as in the technology industry, you call hallucinations, which are the large language model goes on a rant. Everything is curated. Everything is safe that you're reading. And as an educator and as a physician scientist, that is the number one thing that I think doctors want to see, teachers want to see, is that the things that their students are getting, that their colleagues are getting, that they are reading, that they are learning are accurate and up to date. And that's what edYOU does. Let's say at one of the modules, we get a breakthrough, a scientific breakthrough, and that becomes not obsolete, but there is something that is more in tune with 2025. We have the ability to go in there, change the AI, even change the module, and have it up and ready the next day, versus watching an old video. Is it dated? Is it not dated? And I think that the interactability that our members at ASCP will get in these learning modules on a global scale. And I found it very, very interesting and a gift to be part of this global phenomenon, which is ASCP, really helping the most vulnerable populations and teaching these lifelong learners the validity of the material with some of the world's most curated and famous authors in their respective fields, that you can now watch the lectures, you can interact with the product, you can interact with the lecture and learn as you go, test yourself as you go. And we think that this is going to be a great group study. We think that every residency program will be into it, and every educator will find it extremely helpful to have this interactive, safe AI. And that's what edYOU and ASCP are doing. We're going eons ahead with forward-thinking physicians as the doctors on the panel, and really taking AI to the level of safe, accurate learning. Thank you.
So it was truly a humble honor to be selected by the ASCP board to co-lead the redevelopment of the model psychopharmacology curriculum along with Dr. Rick Shelton. There was a need for this redevelopment because the prior curriculum, while widely used here in the United States and all throughout the world, didn't rely on the kind of modern technology that our learners have grown to be accustomed to. What I'm talking about is the idea for a living textbook, living in that it lives online, so learners can access it whenever they want, day or night, living in that it's updated frequently, every quarter or every 6 months to include the most up-to-date information, and also living in that it's using the latest in modern technology. The latest in modern technology is where the ASCP developed a wonderful collaboration with edYOU, which is a Los Angeles-based educational technology company that has an AI product, an AI being that can teach, that can answer questions, and serve as a teaching assistant for learners in the classroom or independent study. And so by combining the content expertise in psychopharmacology that lives within the ASCP with the educational technology expertise that lives within edYOU, we feel like we have a cutting edge product that really brings ASCP into the next century and beyond. By doing this, we meet learners within their own space, and we help learners to learn the way that they're accustomed to learning. I can say, as someone who has spent his career working not only in medical education, but also in psychopharmacology research and practice, that I would have loved to have a tool like this living textbook earlier in my career. I think the efficiencies gained and the high level of learning that will be gained are second to none. As a former training director, I understand, as well as most who are serving in that role, that it's important to have a product that is cost effective. And what that means is, for a low price, the product can reach every resident and faculty member in that program. And so through ASCP's partnership with edYOU, we've worked carefully and thoughtfully to make sure that our product is not only competitive with others on the market, but a little bit cheaper. And actually, with the way we've developed this product and using the AI technology, for a little bit less money than some of our competitors, residency programs may actually get a lot more content and capability.
Hello, I'm Dr. Rick Shelton, and I'm a co-chair of the committee that helped to create this curriculum. And we talk a bit about the objectives of the new version of the model psychopharmacology curriculum. And the objectives are very similar to the older curriculum that began back in the 1980s. Back then, our organization recognized that there was a kind of gap in psychopharmacology training for many trainees coming up in residency programs. And so the curriculum then and the curriculum now is an attempt on our part to help psychiatry training programs fill that gap and to fill that with kind of expert content to be able to deliver to their residents. There are many, and perhaps even most residencies simply don't have the depth of expertise to present a comprehensive training curriculum in psychopharmacology. And so to fill that gap, we have drawn from the ASCP membership and identified experts in a variety of different topics in psychopharmacology to create a whole curriculum for a training program. And so the course is intended to be spread over 3 years. We have the first year so-called crash course, which we've pretty much completed at this point and will be available online very soon, at least as of this recording. We have a basic course, which is intended for the second year, and then an advanced course, which is intended for the third year of training. In the future, we'd like to do other sorts of things like developing continuing medical education programs, to develop board preparation materials, to develop material for primary care clinicians and others. But we're working hard now and we'll soon have available the full course for the 3 years of psychopharmacology training for psychiatry residency.
So we're also very aware at ASCP about how does one decide what is the best training curriculum given the various opportunities that exist for psychopharmacology training. One of the things that we tried to draw on within our, if I may humbly say, expertise within ASCP is a number of real pioneers in clinical psychopharmacology. ASCP grew out of the NIMH NCDO program and has a very long heritage in clinical psychopharmacology dating back to about a half a century. And so one thing we tried to do in these educational modules is to include words of wisdom and expertise and insight and perspective from some of the leaders in our field who've really done original work in this area. People like Dr. Ross Baldessarini, whose work on lithium and suicide is fundamental. Dr. John Rush, whose work in chronic depression and the STAR-D study is really a textbook in itself about the sequential treatment of depression. People like John Kane, who've done pioneering work on clozapine, and a number of others. So sprinkled throughout some of our presentations will include a chance to hear from the source, the original source of information as to why this work is important, how does it fit into the current pharmacopoeia, how to really appreciate the context of the evolution of clinical psychopharmacology.
So gentlemen, I am very proud of this collaboration and what you've done in bringing mental health and specifically psychopharmacology to the forefront of innovation and technology. We will now put this software in the hands of people where they can use it night or day, and they can use it amongst group settings and effectively help improve those board scores, that knowledge in our adaptive learning, so that the individual now becomes someone that is known to the system in how they learn, in how they understand. And really, the collaboration goes with really us three and the whole team at ASCP, including Dr. Anita coming in and really believing that technology can be used for good, and especially in mental health. And that's what we're doing here. We're not, chopping at the bit, saying this is bad, that's bad. We're actually doing something about it. And we've created this curriculum that is so amazing to interact with the luminaries, including the ones on this panel, that you can interact now with the lecture. You can speak, you can talk, you can ask questions, you can actually learn, active learning. So I'm really proud of this collaboration. I'd like to thank all three of you, specifically Dr. Goldberg, Dr. Shelton, and Dr. Macaluso, for all of your hard work and your really visionary thinking. We're going to look back at this in 3 years and say, wow, 2 years of this. I mean, this didn't happen overnight. Night and day, you guys have been volunteering your time, and as we have, because we believe that the end result will help humanity, will help mental health, and will help psychiatry as a whole. And I want to thank all three of you for that.
Well, thank you for the partnership, and we really do appreciate it. I hate to say it this way, but I'm just going to say it bluntly. We've all seen sort of train wreck situations in psychopharmacology where people have come in with all kinds of disastrous combinations of treatments that make no sense. And we want to bring that to an end. We do as individuals and we do as an organization. And we just appreciate the partnership with you, because without you, we wouldn't be able to do this.